Welcome, my fellow NIO, Xpeng, BYD, Li Auto investor, you name it. Whichever Chinese company you're invested in, it's got a slap on the face by the end of the week. Wow, what's going on here in the background? The skyline is lighting up and yeah, having a little bit of a light show here. By the way, I'm currently here in Hangzhou and I will have another video coming up which will be with Sean Reen, which I spoke to with in Shanghai during the time that I've been there, and he will also discuss with me a couple of things about the US and Chinese trade relationships, the ongoing war mongering by the Biden administration, and how they're trying to contain China. And this is also the topic of this video, more specifically now about the EV tariffs that the Biden administration is threatening to bring into play, possibly going to be announced in the next couple of days. But here's the thing. This news was already out on, I think, on Thursday during the trading hours, and there wasn't a big reaction to it. But now, just after there was more headlines and stuff on Friday, we saw all of these stocks plunging and tanking, and I think it's because of the fear that China EV investors are having about the political economic impacts of the measurements that the Biden administration is doing in order to protect the US economy, but also in order to make China suffer. Whether or not China is going to suffer, I'm really undecided on that, because in my opinion, there is not much of economic value, future cash flows and so on already discounted into these Chinese auto stocks or EV stocks, you name it. So it doesn't make much sense, in my opinion, that these stocks are reacting negatively to this news, because frankly, there is not much going on in terms of EV sales from China into the US currently. It's reminding me of the debate of the protectionist measures that are possibly going to put into place by von der Leyen or the EU against China. They're launching this probe in order to see whether or not China has used subsidies in order to build up the EV industry, and whether or not this is going to hurt the auto markets in Europe. And I see lots of magazine headlines and newspaper titles and so on about, China is already rolling over the EU economy and the auto sales. And that's simply not true. There's just a small amount of Chinese cars being sold on European roads. Yes, there is the potential for the future. I've spoken about here on my channel that I think the main bottleneck is currently actually in the area of logistics. So BYD is now starting to build their own ships. There are special ships needed for delivering EV to Europe or other countries generally. And that's not online yet, right? And until that's in place, possibly what's holding back is rather this than actual tariffs and so on. But anyways, the Biden administration is doing that, and it's one of the many measures that they have put into place in order to try to destroy and contain the Chinese economy, right? And so this is just one of the examples. There's also just very recent news how they have slapped another sanction at Huawei, which was using Intel chips, actually the latest AI chips and Qualcomm chips. They are not longer allowed to use them in their consumer products. And that's the point here. I think the cat is out of the bag here. It's becoming clear that the Biden administration is not about really trying to avoid that there are military dual uses of these products, because frankly, this is just a simple, well, not so simple, but still a CPU that has AI capabilities and so on, that's going into a computer of ordinary users. So there's nothing that can be done wrongly with this product in a way. And so ultimately, this is about protecting the US and trying to make China suffer. That's what they're trying to do. And as I said, I think China really doesn't depend on the US in this industry. Like selling EV. I think the Chinese would love to sell EVs into the United States, and I think actually American consumers would love to buy some of these Chinese cars. That's my opinion, but could be wrong. But it's really not that the Chinese automotive industry here is now really, really dependent on that. I mean, there's so many car buyers out here. This is like the biggest automotive market in the world, and in comparison, that's really not a big focus. And so it's really annoying to see that investors are reacting so strongly to it, or it's just the shorts playing games, who knows. But anyways, the fundamentals won't really matter. So I think the cash flows of a NIO or BYD in the future may look pretty much similar than what we have all anticipated before. In contrast, if we would see positive signs, like we've seen, by the way, by Trump, that they are inviting Chinese companies to build factories locally in the US and sell and produce their American-made Chinese cars and selling them in the US, that should be a catalyst to these stocks. Just saying. But anyways, I don't think that this is going to go anywhere. It's just really sad to see that this is actually also, on the bigger picture, not good for the environment. I think EV, the solar industry, everything that's benefiting the environment and reducing carbon emissions and so on, should actually be in all of our interests, that we do trade in this regard, and that it's being produced where it can be produced at the cheapest, because there's the highest capacity for it, there is the best infrastructure for it, there's the best manufacturing for it, there's the best workforce for it, and so on. And so that's here, that's in China, it's not somewhere else. And isn't it all about economics, that you should trade what you can do best against what you don't have? And so ultimately this should create the win-win situations. It's really sad to see that out of such kind of ideological reasons, what they're doing is that they are shutting this down. And again, this will be hurting our progress regarding fighting climate change. This will not help us. It will actually pull us back from transitioning to a more energy efficient grid system that is based on batteries, renewables, and electric cars. And so it's very unfortunate to see that, and I don't think this will get us anywhere, other that at some point in time they will realize that they're fighting almost natural forces, almost gravity here, because it's just so much more efficient to do it here in China, and the products are too good. And so it's kind of, you want to prevent water from leaking out of a bottle, but the bottle is having too many holes, or at some point in time it'll find a hole anyways, right? And it will at some point. So it's just winning time and playing political games. Anyways, I will discuss this even further and even on a broader way, and also much more about what's going on in China with my guest Sean Reen in my next video. So make sure to hit this next video, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button on this video as well as the next video, and just make sure you have notifications active so that you can also get a notification and don't miss out on the next content. Thanks for watching, and peace out here with this little light show in Hangzhou.